Why don't we just start by talking about how you got to Hamilton?
Okay.
I actually knew about Hamilton when I was in middle school.
I found Hamilton through my family. My great-grandfather was class of 1892. I had a great-uncle who was essentially class of 1933.
I was really looking for kind of academic freedom in college. And secondly, I want to be able to go to some place where they would be able to support me financially.
Hamilton looked amazing. I love nature, and the fact that it was an arboretum, it got me going. I was so excited for that.
My parents were not able to go to college. They were caught in the midst of Cultural Revolution in China. Hamilton gave me a very, very generous financial aid package. Without that financial support, I would not have been able to complete my school. So Minds Matter San Francisco started about 4 years ago, and the main mission is to help first-generation immigration high school students go to college. I started off as a mentor, so I was glad that I was one of the people who was helping Gianna. It's just so fulfilling to see her grow, and she was actually the valedictorian of her class in public school. I could not have got to that valedictorian position at Hamilton without so many people's help on my way.
We were in a 3-vehicle convoy, and the lead vehicle hit a roadside bomb. I was 26 years old, and I thought, okay, well, this is it. This is where I'm gonna die. The next thing I remember is somebody shoulder checked me. And as I turned to see who it was, I heard the unmistakable sound of an AK-47 go off right next to my head. And as he was pulling me up, I looked past him, and that's when I saw the bodies of the 2 guys he had just shot and killed. This guy had just saved my life. And so I looked at him and I said, Janice, I'm gonna make you a promise, man. If there is anything I can do to repay this debt, I owe you. Just ask. I get a Facebook message from Janice, and he says, I just got word that the US unit we're supporting is being withdrawn. And the Afghan army have come to all of us translators and they've said, we know you're American spies. And if you stay here, we're gonna kill you. He said, brother, look, you've got till October to get me my visa or I'm a dead man. And I'm part of a think tank in Washington called the Truman National Security Project. And so I reached out to our listserv, and someone responded back and they said, you ought to start a change.org petition. That petition at the time maybe had a couple hundred signatures, and by Sunday night it was well over 100,000. And Janice calls me Sunday night to tell me that the embassy in Kabul has called to tell him he's got his visa and he's coming to America. This guy has nothing his whole life. And by the way, he did 9 years on the front lines for our country. And I showed up and I said, I have a $35,000 check for you from a gift from the American people. And he looked at me and he thought about accepting the money for maybe half of a heartbeat. And he said, brother, I can't take the money. And he said, can we start an organization to help get them here like you've done for me? And then when they arrive, help take care of them the way that you've done for me. And so that was the birth of an organization we call No One Left Behind. And we named it because that's the ethos that we were all taught, that no one gets left behind on the battlefield. Something that started by my frustration has blossomed into an organization that's now in 9 cities. And in the last year has resettled over 700 people.
Boston is important to me because I grew up here. I want to give back to my community, and I want to give back to the young people here who have a lot of potential but maybe need a little bit more support in order to reach that potential. I'm incredibly proud of where I am in this moment. I really am, but I acknowledge that I wouldn't be here today without the village that came together to raise me and to provide me with the skills that I needed to be successful in this role. When I look back in my community, when I look at students in my old middle school or my old high school, I see reflections of my younger self. And I see potential, and I see students who can be so much more than they are now, who may just need a hand, who may just need an opportunity. And then I see myself being able to play a role in that.
When I was at Hamilton, I learned a lot about different arts movements. And then I was also a sociology minor too. So I got to look at all different issues in like American society or how to do different fieldwork elements. I learned grant writing. I learned how to do fundraisers. I learned how to put on productions. I learned like so many things that I didn't think that I was actually going to learn at school. I didn't think that's what I would wind up understanding or studying. So I knew for a while that I wanted to come back to Boston. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to share what I learned, and I knew that I wanted to try to elevate the people who I grew up with to be on that same level. I really just wanted to be like a performer who got to travel and do art that made people think. And now I get to be a teacher who travels and does work that gets people to think. I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing what I love. Like, I get to wake up in the morning and I get to create arts curriculum. I've been trying to find a way to revamp art in Boston. I want to use art to empower people. So that's my promise. You know, after my class, you are going to be empowered in some way. You can stand up for yourself. You can articulate better. You can show what you're thinking. I want to empower people.
They made a promise. They promised that when you leave Hamilton, you're going to leave prepared to face the world, to succeed in the world, to take on the world, but also to live up to the promise of Hamilton.
When I think about the promise that Hamilton made for me, I think they've exceeded that. Like, I can't envision myself being here in a lot of ways without the education that I've gained at Hamilton.
Chambliss said this, Professor Chambliss, and it was like, college is the great equalizer. People who go to college are blessed by the mobility fairy. I feel like that was kind of a promise that I was given. It was like, you come here and it's gonna be the great equalizer, and it's going to find a way to like put you on a positive path. And it like, crazily enough, it totally did.
Hamilton allows you to make it for you in a way that a lot of schools don't. And they have so many great resources so that you can actually do it well. And great teachers who are professors who can advise you on how to improve your idea and really take it to the next level.
4 years in Hamilton is really the place where I found a lot of my core values, and those really shaped my view of the world, of humanity. I keep telling people how much I love about liberal arts education.
In Hamilton, I feel like they kept their promise. They wound up being the equalizer. I was blessed by the mobility fairy.
I can't thank Hamilton enough for instilling that in me, because it's that ethos that I carry with me every day to work. The idea that you keep your commitment, that you honor your promise. That was something that Hamilton made to me, and that's now something that I am trying to pay forward.